Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hit List Podcast, the show where Pokemon nostalgia meets today's collecting culture. Where's he going? well,
That sounded like
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hit List Podcast, where we're going to do ASMR all day
no,
long.
this is just
I can't do it. I can't do it.
this is just the Hit List Podcast on PBS. Thank you.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Anyway,
Oh, it's so bad.
once Kalen composes himself, today we're going to talk about a couple things. The main thing is the cyclical nature of Pokemon and how we're going to see some different things change a little bit here. We just want you guys to be prepared for what's coming up. We've talked about how this Ascended Heroes is going to kind of intertwine with the Perfect Order that's coming out, and that's going to be interesting. But there's a lot of other cyclical things happening, and we want to make sure we cover it all for you. He's weird.
Sorry, we're supposed to do snaps.
Snaps, everybody. Snaps.
Oh my god. Yeah, you're calling me weird. Expensive Lego set, and he was like, well, I don't know, I just got it as a kid, built it, put it on my stand, and never, did anything with it. And I was like, bro, check your Legos.
That's the thing about Legos is they all are technically a limited release set in some form. So like they have a specific beginning and end date. Some of them are really short. So yeah, it's honestly big fan, obviously, with I've got surrounded with Legos.
Really? I never noticed.
I have ones I haven't even built yet. I'm excited.
So you're
about
saying
them.
When we come up there?
Yeah, I've got Legos. I've got plenty. I got stuff we can build. But yeah, it's definitely something that.
Did you see the Lego collab with Pokemon? How it sold out like instantly, and resellers are trying to get crazy money.
I'm not surprised. I mean, specifically for anybody who doesn't collect Lego, a lot of the time, what they do is they the price per piece is about 10 cents. So a lot of people got really mad when they saw that the Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise was like $600 something. But with it being 6,500 pieces and it being a collaboration of trademark, it kind of has to be that expensive, but it's very cool. And one of the things I thought was really cool about the collaboration was the gift with purchase with that was the 8 Kanto badges.
I saw that. They look so cool.
They do. I'd like to get that just as a set.
I think a lot of people are gonna buy the actual stand, like the 3 starters, and then just keep that as their like bonus almost. I don't think a lot of people are gonna sell it.
I don't think so either, and that's where it's gonna be tough because I didn't look, but I'm sure that gift with purchase has to be you have to buy Pokemon stuff. So the people who buy it are gonna be people who actually want it.
Right. That's nice. That's really nice.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's something I would like to have. I also know they're doing a piece that it's like a mini Pokemon Center that is going to be for insiders only. I think it's 2,500 points, and you can get that. It's real small, but honestly, it's a nice piece. I would love to have it up here. I might try and snag one of each of those and have them as part of my display.
Oh, I got you. Do you like have enough to get it, or are you just gonna buy it?
I think I'll probably just get it on eBay when people start listing them, but that one's going to be a little tougher because people aren't going to spend their points and then get that. A free gift with purchase is a whole different thing.
Yep.
But this, I don't know. I don't know how many points I have right now, but I'm betting you I don't have 2,500.
I have 0, so you're doing better than me.
Yeah, right on the front page, right on the front page, we have Pokemon right there. We have the Eevee, the Pikachu, the 3 starters, the pre-order. Let me see what we're looking at. Pikachu is $199 with the Pokeball, which I actually think that one's really cool because it's got a really cool, like, coming out of the Pokeball look. We've got the Eevee, which is a little cheaper at $59.99. And then the big one,
Holy
the Venusaur
crap.
Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise is $649. 6,838 pieces. That's pretty cool.
All right, let's get back to Pokemon. We're talking about Pokemon today.
Yes, we sure are, as per usual. So, one of the things that we wanted to talk about today is something we've kind of touched on with a bunch of different topics, and it's this cyclical nature of Pokemon in general, and how we can see, like we just talked about with Kalen last week, about how the market is cooling down right now. But we can see a lot of other cyclical things happening, such as one of the things that we've seen recently down in Kansas is, as I believe you described it, a more of people leaving the hobby than coming in currently. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's everywhere, or that doesn't mean that this is something that's necessarily bad, but it is something that does happen on a regular basis.
Yeah, this is very normal. Like Pokemon goes through cycles every single year of, or even every 4 to 5 years. We can see it back with celebrations. A lot of people got back into it because you had these stimulus checks. You had a lot of time on your hands. You didn't know what to do. A lot of people got back into it. Logan Paul came into it. A huge opening came to the Pokemon community. Instead of shining just a regular flashlight, we got one of those big bright ones that the cops use to find people. Like that's what happened. We had a huge mass of people actually get their eyes on it again and kind of get back into it. Now we're kind of seeing the opposite. A lot of people are getting out for One Piece. A lot of people are moving on to different games that they want to play. Riftbound is an example that I can use. There's a lot of other options that people are looking towards that they can have fun with that maybe is not as expensive or is just new to them. Everyone is always looking for the new thing anyway. If you look at groceries, you look at fast food places, you look at anywhere, your favorite restaurant, they're always going to do something new because that's what people want to see. And so we're going to see some people exit the community, and that's not going to be replaced as quickly as people coming into the community. That means that we're going to have a lot more cards out on sale, for people to go buy. You're going to see a lot of people selling their collections, especially at conventions or going to card shops to do so. And so you're just naturally going to see a increase in singles, a decrease in people. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be, hey, 6 months from now is you're going to bottom out and there's going to be almost no one in. No, it's normal. This is normal. It happens all the time. Some people are off of work during winter. Some people can't work during winter. We had Christmas not too long ago. You're going to see some people trying to recoup money, or people need to pay taxes. Then we have the flip side of that, people getting their taxes back, people actually being able to buy a little bit more now that they're recovering capital after all of those holidays. They're able to actually have some money to spend before the summer hits whenever they're trying to go out and travel. So we're going to see, I think, in my personal opinion, about a 2 to 3 month span of a lot more people coming into the community. Not only that, but a lot of buying happening in the community here soon.
Yeah, I know obviously with the holidays, you have a lot of buying happen right before that. And, I think we see this in a lot of different areas, like you said, with people trying to change things to keep it fresh. Also, with just buyer's fatigue of everything else. I don't know about you, but after the holiday season, I'm always kind of tapped out for a little bit. I don't want to go out to eat as much. I don't want to I don't want to go buy something new. Honestly, for me, I haven't really looked at a lot of new cards recently that I want for my collection, and I'm just starting to look back into it. And as I'm starting to look back into it, I'm not looking for really high value things. Like I'm looking for a lot of like CGC 10 pristine Japanese cards from newer sets like Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. Things like that I think are kind of their lowest point right now. For example, a couple of things I was just looking at today were the Alakazam from Mega Symphonia in a CGC 10 pristine, which is like $30. A great card to have. The Bulbasaur from Mega Brave, I think it is. That one in a CGC 10 pristine is like $35-$40. Like, there's a lot of really great cards out there in CGC 10 Pristines that are really reasonable prices. And of course, if you want to look for AGS 10s, if you want to look for PSA 9s, if you want to look for these kind of like not PSA 10 graded cards, like I'm noticing really reasonable prices right now for very recent sets.
Not only for recent sets, but even if we go back to the Scarlet Violet base set, Scarlet Violet promos, you can find the promos sometimes for cheaper than the actual near mint price of the card that's on the market. So don't feel like you have tunnel vision of, hey, if I'm going to get the card, I need to get the best I possibly can. That's not always going to be what's best for you. It's not always going to be what's best for kind of your collection and things like that, because maybe it hits a point where you're like, man, I lost, half of my value in a month and I just feel horrible and I don't want to do it. No, we always go back to have fun with it. If you like that card and you just want to get it slabbed because you like how it looks, a 9 is great. For older cards, myself, I'll go down to 5s, maybe 6s, and I'll be just as happy with that as if I got an 8. And so, whatever makes you happy, whatever is in your budget, whatever is in the means that you can collect how you want to and collect the way that you can.
Yeah, one of the things for me that I really enjoy, especially as of recently, are trainer gallery cards, or as they were called in Japanese, character rares, or illustration rares, or in Japanese, they're called art rares. I have a binder just full of them that I mean, pretty much all of them are gradable, but none of them are of very high value. And what I do is I like to go on to different sellers on eBay that have just mass amounts of these art rares and character rares for sale. And a lot of them will actually do, if you buy 5, you get 1 free, or if you buy 10, the whole order is 10% off. And you can end up getting a lot of cards for a really reasonable price, and they look so good. Now, I will say, whenever you look into the SIRs or the alt art side, you're going to start to notice some discrepancies on prices between English and Japanese. Like, for example, there are some cards that are real cheap in English. For example, like the Great Tusk from Scarlet Violet. And this is an old number that I was looking at, but I remember that that card was like $2 to $3 for a long time. But in Japanese, it was higher. It was like 8 to 10. So you will see a little bit of discrepancy there in the more rare cards, especially with SIRs, because they are a box hit where you're going to get one, and you might not even get an SIR. Where in all likelihood, if you get a booster box of English, you're probably going to get one, maybe two on some different sets. But for the illustration rare, since you are guaranteed 3 per box, and I will say, I don't know if you've really looked, Kalen, but the black and white ones are so reasonably priced, especially in Japanese. Oh my
Even the
goodness.
Seismitoad. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
60
Seismitoad
bucks or
dropped a lot.
something. Yeah. So,
But yeah, you can
there's
fill a
another
binder.
example that I like to say with that one. I had the Gardevoir SAR, in Japanese from, I believe it was Violet. In English, that SIR is, maybe 50, 60 bucks. In Japanese, it's 120. It's double the price in Japanese, but that's because it is much harder to hit. And I personally believe the artwork looks so much better. And so I feel like a lot of these English collectors will look at them side to side and go, oh no, that one 100% is what I want. Shoot, it's a lot harder to hit than the English counterpart. I still want it. Yeah, okay, you got me. I'm going to pay a little bit more for it.
Yeah, and like I said about the alt arts and SIRs being harder to pull, the other part of it, as you just mentioned, was that texture that they put on SIRs and alt arts is just unmatched compared to what we do in English. And that also drives up the price a little bit. But if you look, you can find some that are a little cheaper still. But definitely something you can look at, looking at all these online sellers to find yourself something cheaper to collect, especially now. Because for a while there, as somebody who does collect that, and that's how I do collect, it got a little harder to find product because a lot of people were in that buying stage. So, like I said, where you have buying and then selling stages, when you get into that selling stage, people are just offloading whatever they have. So a lot more product comes back onto the market. And that's where I'm starting to see this happen again, where I'm starting to see a ton of illustration rares and art rares being able to be bought at reasonable prices.
And I love that. To be honest with you, I really enjoy having that because personally, I just like the artwork. So for me, it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean anything for me that it's Japanese compared to English. I really want the artwork. I love how it looks. If that's how you like to collect, you can do the same thing where, hey, maybe this illustration rare in English is $18. It's $2 in Japanese. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm going to spend $2, get a card that I want, and maybe one day I'll get the English counterpart. If I don't, oh well, at least I still have the artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about this a bunch of times that we're more artwork collectors than value chasers. And that's such an advantage for us that we're able to do that. Um, I don't know about you, but when it
You're
comes to
feeling
the art
22?
rares, oh my,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to. Okay, readjust. We're going to get back to the.
get rid of them.
You know
Get
you
rid of
love
them.
me. You know you love.
Absolutely. But I don't know about you, but when you look at Japanese art rares versus illustration rares, there is a slight difference in color, but to me, they're almost equal. So the price difference is just odd to me. And I've talked 100 times about how I don't understand why the Japanese SIRs, seeing that they're harder to get and they're textured, a lot of the times are equal or less than the English ones. Like, for example, one of the SIRs I'd love to have in Japanese, but it's more expensive, is Tapu Koko. And I think that would be Raging Surf
Hmm.
for Japanese, or it's Paradox Rift for English. But that card in English I like it a lot. I have it right behind me here, but it just doesn't hit the same way. Another one from, what would it be? Future Flash, I think, would be the Iron Valiant.
Hmm.
In English, it's okay. In Japanese, it's unbelievable.
Hmm.
Here's one of my tips. Like, if you're going and you're looking for a Japanese card that you want to pop in your collection, find one with a sunset on it. I don't know why, but the way the texture works with the sunsets or the sun rays, there are some unbelievable textured cards in Japanese. Absolutely, go find one. For example, I'll give you a couple examples that are great. Some of these aren't super cheap, but they are really awesome. Like, for example, the Latias from Surging Sparks, but it's Paradise Dragon in Japanese. Blows the English out of the water. It's not close. As I just said, the Iron Valiant, not close.
Even the
Lily's
Alolan
Determination,
Executor SIR out of the
Alolan
same.
Executor SIR
Oh my
doesn't have.
gosh, it looks so much better.
It's unbelievable. Like, in English, it's just okay. My favorite, and it's the card that really got me into making this something I really enjoy, is the Terapagos from Stellar Crown or Stellar Miracle. In Stellar Miracle, that Terapagos is unbelievable. In English, it's fine.
Now, how many do you have? How many do you have?
Enough. I have enough. I have
Honestly,
enough.
real quick, changing the topic. I love the people who go out and they're like, I love this one card. I love this. And this is almost all that I want to collect. We had someone on stream today talk about, hey, I just really thought the Org Choreo from the UPC was really, really cool. I like it a lot. I started collecting it, and now I want a whole binder. I'm 100 away from a whole binder full of just
That's
that promo.
crazy.
That's incredible. I want to do that with the Artillery Gold. I believe it's from Chilling Reign of Battle Styles. I can't remember exactly, but I
Mhm.
absolutely love that card. It's a full gold card with a gold Pokemon, and it matches my motif perfectly. I want to get a PSA 10 with a gold guard and a gold chain around it. That's what I want to do at the end point.
And you should.
Um, oh,
Absolutely, you should.
100%. And so it's things like that that also kind of share the excitement and share the passion again. You hear someone, hey, I love this comment or uncommon. Connor, one of my coworkers, loves the Team Rocket's Mareep from Destined Rivals. He was like, I just really like the card. He filled out an entire binder with it. And now he's going to fill out an entire binder of reverse hollows with it. And it's like, man, anytime I see you, if I have any Mareeps, you know you're going to get some. And so not only does it allow you to get passionate about it again, but also builds your connections with someone. You're going to look at that person and go, hold on a second. You're the guy that likes Mareeps, aren't you? Oh, yeah, that's me. You know, I love that. I love seeing that.
Yeah, that's and we've talked about so many times about different ways to collect, but that's one that we really haven't touched on is collecting a specific Pokemon. I've seen that where people don't really care if there's another Pokemon. Like there's Pikachu collectors out there that are collecting different Pikachus from different events because every event around the world gets a Pikachu card.
They do.
All kinds of different ones that you've probably never even heard of. And you come across them every so often. You're like, wow, that's really cool. And there's people who go for those. There's people who collect different EVs, some of the more popular ones that have a million different ones. And then there's collectors who collect the cards that don't have a lot of prints. And they just try and fill binders, like we just said with Connor filling the Rockets Mareep. Now, I don't think Mareep's a card that doesn't have a lot of cards, but it means something to him and he did it. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And that's a-okay. No one should ever feel like I have to hide this or you can't feel excited about it because that is what it's meant to be. You're supposed to be excited. You're supposed to have fun with it. And like I said, I want gold octilleries. That's my thing, right? I love the gold octilleries. Anytime I see one, I pick it up. It's like $5 or $6. It's not too expensive, but I love the card. And anytime if I see anyone bring it to me and they go, hey, will you take, it's an instant yes. It doesn't matter if it's damaged. It doesn't matter if it's like missing a little piece of it. It doesn't matter to me. I just want that dang card. it's,
Absolutely.
it's
And
that, oh man, I'm so weird.
it's not weird. It's just another way to collect. And it's awesome that or you're going to be going on this journey. And I can't wait to see a binder full of gold octilleries. That's going to be really cool because it's something you wanted to do and it's something that you did. Uh, and that makes the journey of not finding some crazy chase worth a ton of money. Now you're looking for something different, which is really, really awesome. And I remember, and they weren't really big chases, but one of the things you and your wife had texted me about when I was at a show one time was, hey, can you find these black and white evolutions? And I had never heard of them before, but it did make my card show into a little bit of a scavenger hunt, which changed the whole feel of that day, which was awesome to be able to experience something new that I hadn't ever done before because I'd never seen the cards. I'd never heard of them. Now, is it something that I would go for every time? No, but it does open my mind to try and find other things. Like, I'm sure you know this, but I don't know if a lot of our viewers do. One of the things that I collect is Cosmos Hollow promos. One of the reasons I do that is a lot of the Cosmos Hollow promos are exclusive arts to whatever that was, like a 3-pack blister. For example, if you were to go and get the 3-pack blister from Phantasmal Flames or the 1-pack blister, they're typically those 1-pack blisters have them and then the 3-pack blisters have them. But for example, they were a Whimsicott and a Cottony. That's really cool. If you go back to, I think it was Surging Sparks or Journey Together, it's one of them. One of them has a Wooper and a Quagsire. That they're both in the same fountain, but that card's not a card that you see anywhere else. But those are really cool to me because also we don't get Cosmos Hollows unless it's some kind of promo anymore. And I love Cosmos Hollow. So that's pretty cool for me. And those cards aren't really worth much. Like typically what I'll do is I can go into my local card shop and upon release day, I'll say, hey, do you have any of the promos from that? And they'll usually just give me a stack of them because people just turn them in or don't want them. But they're really cool cards, especially. So here's a great example of how that could work out to be something you really want later. I am thinking back to Team Up, where the blister pack had 2 different promos, and neither of them were really wanted. But now they're very expensive. You have the Pikachu with a Mimikyu, and then you have a Mimikyu that's a Fairy Energy Mimikyu.
I have that in a PSA 10, by the way.
You were just waiting for that.
I knew exactly where you're going.
But
no,
yeah, that
I think
Go ahead.
I think it's a great thing to do, because not only does it make it like a scavenger hunt for yourself, but it also whenever you find it, I don't know if you've seen, videos of people vending, but they'll walk up and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, you have it," and they point, and that to me is a huge thing because that reaction is so almost like primal. It's not like something that you have to think about. It's something that is so, hey, it's so ingrained in myself that, man, hey, it's there. I love it. It's there. I want it. It's so great to see. It means that people are still wanting things that, you can never think about. There's so many unique ways to collect and to either find cards that you wouldn't normally find, or just learn about new cards that you're like, man, I really love this. I didn't know that I love this, but now I do. And so more education for people to see other people doing things that they might not have thought of previously is always going to help the community. We already talked about having people exit the community and enter the community again. So even though we're seeing more product on the market, we're going to start seeing those products go out of print. Well, as that product goes out of print, we're going to see those prices go up. We've already gotten and the Chinese. So that was the other two things.
Yes.
So we'll talk about those two.
Let's do product going out of print first, and then we'll talk about the Chinese product, because I have a couple things. I was just looking on eBay, of course, while I was looking for my CGC 10s. I was able to find a couple Chinese, and I'm a little surprised by some of the prices. And this goes both ways. This is really good and really bad.
Well, yeah. Oh, it's a crazy swing, and it's really hard to keep track of it.
Let me turn this off real quick.
As long as you don't turn me up.
As long as I don't what?
No, what? No, what?
What?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
right.
Go ahead.
So as we see the amount of product come back onto the market, we're also going to see the Pokemon Company stop printing a lot of this product, which means even though we're going to have a lot more on the market, as that supply goes down, we're going to naturally see the market price go back up. For instance, they have been starting to say that Destined Rivals is going out of print now. That means that no more booster boxes are going to be released as often. We're not going to see as much of these releases happen down the road, especially now that we're in the mega block. A lot of those Scarlet Violet releases or products are now going to be a lot harder to get your hands on just because the availability isn't there, the printing isn't there anymore. I know that we're going to have a new distribution or a new printing plant here in, I believe, 2027 or sometime in the near future. That's not going to affect the market now, though. So we can't look at that and kind of, have our feet stand still and not get the stuff that we want to in the time frame that we want to just because you feel like it's going to get reprinted. Just know that, hey, Scarlet Violet base, you're not going to see any more of that in products. I mean, we don't see any more of that out on shelves at all anymore. The Twilight Masquerade ETBs, they're a great price right now. I think they're like $75. I know a lot of people are like, dude, that's way over MSRP. That's not in print anymore. We are not going to get any more stock of Twilight ETBs unless it's from someone who has a huge stock of it that just wanted to get rid of it and liquidate it all at once. Once that stuff is gone, though, it's gone. And so we need to kind of make preparations to understand, hey, Scarlet Violet era, it's coming to an end. It's been a great era. We've had a great amount of fun with it. We've had a great amount of success with it. I've had a lot of fun with it, but it's coming to an end. And so we need to kind of start preparing ourselves for that next step, which is going to be, hey, we're going to start seeing stuff go up just like the Sword and Shield. And we're going to start seeing Sword and Shield stuff reach higher and higher peaks. I know the Lost Origin booster boxes and Fusion Strike booster boxes have started to come down in price. I think it's going to go right back up here in a couple months just because you can't find them anymore. All of those packs that are being ripped on streams, all of the product that is being liquidated right now is going to dry up. And so as soon as that happens, we're going to naturally see that go up. And I don't know if it's going to go up quickly. I don't think it's going to go up that quickly. Now, market kind of does market things. There could be one night you log in and it's, 25% more than what you thought it was going to be. And you go, oh crap, I'm kicking myself right now because I didn't buy it yesterday. At the same time, FOMO is always going to be real. Once that kind of train happens, that people's thought process all aligns to, hey, I need to buy this right now, otherwise I'm not going to get a chance to later on. You're going to see those prices spike quite a bit. And so just be careful, buy at the opportunity that you feel comfortable at. Understand that, hey, this is going to happen. It's not like it's not natural. We've seen sets go out of print before. It's a natural progression of things. And so as long as you keep that in mind, you can make educated decisions on what to buy and what not to buy.
Yeah, and so at this point, what will we still have in print, in the near future? What are we printing still, as far as you know?
Yeah, so I know that Destin Rivals is going to be the last one on the block. So I project we're going to see a little bit more prismatic. We're going to see a little bit more, black and white come out here soon. I know that we just had those boxes released, the heavy hitters boxes with black and white, I believe. We saw those released. I think that there's going to be another wave of those. I don't know about ETBs. ETBs are kind of still up in the air. It just takes it costs so much for the Pokemon company to produce those that they're kind of looking at it and it's just not worth it for them compared to these bigger boxes that they can sell more packs and get a little bit of a better price on. Um, I think that there might be an SPC, so prismatic SPCs. There might be some of those coming out. I don't know how much. No one really knows how much. This is all speculative. At the same time, it's kind of natural. We've seen these cycles go through. Pokemon kind of likes to stick to these cycles unless they're seeing really low lows. If they're seeing a lot of people getting out of the hobby and the sales numbers are just not there, they're of course going to reduce that printing because let's be honest, if a business isn't making as much money as they used to be, yeah, they're going to reduce the amount of production they see. So it's just natural. It's going to happen. Like I said, I think basically prismatic and on, we're going to have a couple more cycles after that. I really don't see it happening more than a year from now. So just, maybe mark your calendars a year from now. Say, hey, Kalen, you were wrong. We still got prismatic in print. Ha ha ha, nerd. And you can just come say that, comment that on the video, and be like, "Wow, Kalen, you're really smart." I know I am. Yeah.
What's really interesting about what you brought up is Destin Rivals being one that's not going to be in print for much longer because that set was plagued with low availability because of, they weren't able to get enough product out. So there's a lot of people that just didn't really get a full chance at Destin Rivals just because it really wasn't available. So that could spike that set in the future very high.
Yes, so we're already seeing booster boxes. What are they? $400, $500.
Which
That
is
is
weird for something
insane.
that came out like less than a year ago.
Exactly. That is insane for a booster box that is so freshly printed to be that price. I'm not saying that, it's wrong or anything. Like I said, supply and demand, it's normal, it's natural. This is the market. Like it's elementary. It is high school level economics. This is normal. At the same time, I just think that they were going so quickly with sets that they didn't have enough time or availability to print as many booster boxes and ETBs as they wanted to. We're already seeing an increase in prismatic ETBs. The ETBs for Destin Rivals are already pretty high. I mean, that's the most expensive Pokemon Center ETB I have right now is the Destin Rivals one, and it's by a large margin. It's not even close.
Yeah, that really goes to show how little of it was actually printed. And going forward here, I mean, we're looking at they kind of I don't want to say they did this, but they did print a lot of Mega, which is good. It seems like they printed a lot of Phantasmal, which is good. But I think part of this retooling and moving forward for them to be able to manage this kind of numbers is cutting out older sets quicker. Now, that gets a little bit more difficult with the gameplay itself. That's something we're going to talk about coming up here on a future episode about gameplay. But one part of gameplay is cycling out certain cards to keep the game fresh. And if you have cards that are in the game, you still kind of have to print them. I mean, that just makes sense. So that is going to be interesting going forward here. Now, we're about to see Scarlet and Violet cycled out of play, some of it, which is going to change a lot. And we're going to talk about that coming up here. But this is another factor that goes into this cycle of when they take things away. So I'm very interested to see what we're going to do here, because the current way they're talking about taking away printing leaves us with just these past couple sets that we've had.
Mm-hmm. And that's also going to affect the market, right? I mean, you're going to have players all over the world that are trying to play with these cards. If they go out of print quicker, it means that they need them quicker.
Mm-hmm.
That means that people might be, hey, I can only get it from one set. This set is really hard to hit from. I really need this card for my deck. I need 4 copies for my deck. Well, you might get 1 per booster box.
Well, we
Man,
saw
that
that
really
we saw
hurts.
that very recently with what was it? Paradox Rift with Earthen Vessel.
Mm-hmm.
A
Or
card that
even
was,
Shrouded Fable with
yeah,
Pheasantipity.
Shrouded had a couple night stretchers too.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was cards that were in every deck that, the set. I think Shrouded's a great example, because when it comes down to single EX card, like not full art, just regular EX card, Pheasantipity commands that top spot. And it's because it's a playable card. But that set, for a while there, the most valuable card, was a Golden Earthen Vessel, a playable card.
Mm-hmm.
And that's odd, because that set, people didn't really love a lot of the art from it originally. So the playable cards took over. And I remember for a while there, Earthen Vessels out of Paradox Rift were a couple bucks every time you got a regular trainer card.
Yeah, and honestly, I love that. It allows, different collectors to either maybe look at playing the game, having a different, variation of, oh my gosh, I pulled this from a pack. It can go right into my deck. It makes collecting feel a little bit better. I know we've talked about that a couple times, but not only that, but hey, I don't need 10 of these cards. I know someone here in the local area that needs all 10 of them. Hey, let's work this out. Let's do a good deal. And later down the road, if I have some more playables, just come back to me. No problem at all. Well, we're going to have a great connection with that. So it allows you to not only build different connections, but some really good ones too.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that I'm actually looking forward to, and they've been doing a good job at this, is as we continue to print out new sets, we're getting new playable trainer cards and other cards, not just reprints of older cards we've already had, but new ways to change the game and keep the game fresh. I think for a while there, it was more so based on the Pokemon abilities to change how the game was played. But we're starting to see a lot more trainer cards that are really upping the ante on these games. Like from Phantasmal Flames, the Fire Breather card changed fire decks completely.
Hmm. Iono changed disruption decks altogether. It's rotating out, and so everyone's going, well, we don't have any hand disruption. How do we get hand disruption? You might have a Pokemon ability that's able to do that. Maybe you have 1 or 2 cards that just got printed that you're gonna have to have, because otherwise you don't have anything for hand disruption. So you're looking at the new sets going, oh my gosh, thankfully they printed this hand disruption in Phantasmal Flames. I can finally buy it, I can get it, and I can play it in my deck now. It's maybe not as good, but at least I have it, right? At least I have the opportunity to do something different.
Absolutely. And my challenge to all of our viewers this week, especially with the next episode that's coming out this next week, is I want everybody to create a deck. I don't care if you ever play with anybody, but I know all of you have a bunch of cards around. Try and make a deck and just comment what you made your deck out of. Like, what was your prime Pokemon that you put in there that you really just wanted to try making a deck with? And if you have any friends that are nearby, have them do the same thing. And I want to see more people get into playing this game because it is a great game. I came from playing Magic the Gathering competitively and I stopped for a long
Oh,
time, but when I came back in, I really liked a lot of the things about this game. Is it's simpler, yes, but a lot of the mechanics that are out there are comparable. And there are some ways that you can, spice up the game a little bit if you've played Magic before to make it more entertaining for you. I just had a conversation recently with a close friend, and when we were playing some Commander, that he didn't really like the way the Pokemon played. And I said, hang on. I taught him Magic and I said, look, I've created some decks that they might not be in the meta, but they play like a Magic deck. And it's really fun to play them, to have a bunch of combos and what not go off. So just because you've played another game in the past and think that this game is silly or simple, give it a chance and make yourself a fun deck. I think you're really going to surprise yourself.
yeah, I love that. 100%. Everyone should at least play one time.
I agree. One of the other things we wanted to talk about, complete subject change, because Kalen and I never just completely change the subject when talking. No, him
Us
and I,
never.
our conversations are wild, man. They are all over the place. But I'm glad we can bring it to the people so they can see what it's really like. But one of the things that we kind of, I want to say we kind of predicted a little bit wrong in some ways, but also right in others, is these Chinese exclusive art cards. So I'm very confused. Uh, I remember talking with you a while ago about these Gem Pack 2 Evolution cards, and why have they not changed? They're all very reasonable price. We have the Cubone, Saraledge, and a couple others from the Collect 151.
Gem
Or
Volume 3.
Oh, Gem 3. Sorry. Gem 3. Those are in Gem 3 that are not really that insane either. And that's confusing me. I'm not going to lie, because these are really cool arts that are not really available anywhere else. The only thing that is not surprising to me is Gem Pack Volume 1, where those ones aren't moving a lot. I just, apart from Captain Pikachu, I don't think Liko and Roy are that, known to people just yet. And I don't think people really cared about that show as much. I like the show. I think it's fun.
Mhm.
But when you start putting characters on it, I get that. But why a 4 connected art set is not through the roof of evolutions is very confusing to me.
I honestly think it's because a lot of people are getting fatigue. There's been a lot of releases, even though Jap or Chinese has their own exclusive cards, so does Japanese, so does several different parts of the world. So it's kind of, you have to pick and choose. And whenever you have to pick and choose, getting something that maybe, hey, it's a little harder to find. Not only that, but it's faked a ton. So if you don't buy one that comes directly from a box that you see ripped, you kind of never know. Maybe you want to get it graded rather than anything like that. So um, it's almost like people have to be a little bit more choosy right now with what they collect, which is okay. I don't mind that at all. It just means that some of these cards are going to go underneath the radar for a while until people can, really take a little bit of a better inspection and say, hey, this is really, really nice. I really love this. How do I get my hands on it?
Yeah, and I think what I'm really saying is we need to take advantage of this, because these are exclusive art cards that are really beautiful cards. Now, I will say there is one that I know of that did go a little insane, because I think this set was not really printed a lot. It's the weird one that nobody talks about. It's that like surprise one with Goldango on the front. I forget what
Mm-hmm.
it's called, but there's a mouse hold in there that is insanely expensive, that I've never even seen in person because that little box set was so limitedly printed that there are some products that we, very likely won't get to see ripped. That's what the interesting part of Chinese to me is their limited runs. Like we've talked about, Gem Pack 1 and 2 are out of print. Gem Pack 3, I never even got a chance to open any of it. I don't think it's
It's
in print
almost out of
anymore.
print.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's really in print anymore. This
Well, hey, maybe when I come up there, we can open a box.
Oh, do you have one?
I'll probably be able to get one. I think I know a place.
Guys, he promised. He promised.
If you could promise we could build a Lego set, I could promise to get you a box. Deal? Oh my gosh, this guy.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where the other part of it is this is coming from the other side of the planet in a language that we do not speak. So, I think that kind of had a tough effect for some people that don't want to collect things that aren't in their language, which to me is ridiculous. If you like the art, but if you like to read your cards, okay. But like, I'm here for the art. I know what the Pokemon are. I don't need to know what the card does because I can't even play it. Even if I did want to play it, you can't legally play it here anyway. So it doesn't make a difference. But I'd love to see more of these making their way over here. But when we're talking about things going out of print and cyclical nature, this is the fastest cycle I've ever seen with the Chinese exclusive sets. This is crazy to me.
Yeah, it is a very quick print run. Honestly, I don't think we've ever seen a quicker print run than what we do for Chinese sets. They're also really behind, so they had to catch up a lot quicker than we ever will have to. So that means for them, hey, we got to combine 4 different sets into one box. Well, you got to pick and choose sometimes what hits go into what boxes. Well, then later down the road, you're going to add new hits to different boxes, and so you're just sitting there like, I don't know what to collect because I don't know what's in each set. I just don't
Right.
know,
But
and so that
I kind of like that though about the Chinese sets because whenever you have the Japanese sets or the Korean sets, you kind of already know like, oh, this is half of X English set. But when we're doing these Japanese or these Chinese ones, it's pretty easy to figure out what's in them. Like, for example, the Gem Pack 2 was just a whole bunch of Eevee stuff. The Collect 151 was 151. But then you have these other sets that are kind of mixes, and you have these reverse hollows that are different, and you have these specialty hollows, which stars or prisms or all kinds of stuff that are just really cool that you get in no other product. To me, that makes these a really fun product to open, even regardless of value.
hmm Yep. And we always go back to it. If you're having fun with it and you're enjoying it, might as well do it. And a lot of them are cheap. Like I remember getting some boxes for like $50 a box. For myself, there's nothing better than sitting down with my wife and, hey, here's a box for you, here's a box for me. Let's have a rip battle, and it only costs $100. Sometimes that's one date night.
Yeah. I remember I bought a Gem Pack 1 box when they first came out, and I'm pretty sure it was $35 for a box. That is hilarious now, but at the time, that was just kind of how it was. And, it just like anything else, when we had all these people in, the buyer's market where people were trying to buy whatever they could, you started to see a lot of these products, like the Chinese products that weren't popular at all before, start to pick up. So now that we're kind of in between a buyer's and seller's market, um, just just because of where we stand, in this country with tax season, and that tax season is so interesting because some people get tax back, some people have to pay tax, and I think more often than not, people do get money back. So that is just, we've all seen people rush into Best Buy to get their tax TV, or whatever. And the same thing happens in this hobby. You just got to be ready for it. And it seems like so far the Pokemon Company has done a good job to be ready for any change that's come up.
Yeah.
The only exception, and we talked about it with Tucker, is this Ascended Heroes release schedule. I'm
Is bad.
terrified of it.
Is bad.
This is unless the amount that they're putting out is just incomprehensible to us. Like all the tech sticker collections you could want, all the 2-pack blisters you could want. One of the things Tucker said, and I do kind of agree with this, unless that number is absolutely insane, I don't think it matters if a store limits how much you buy to a couple, because people are going to find a way to get it. Just because we are broadcasting this doesn't mean that everybody else isn't broadcasting what's about to happen. We have 4 releases for one set of product that usually comes out in 2. I remember for Prismatic Evolution, the ETBs and tech sticker collections and whatnot came out first, and the rest came out with the booster bundles. This isn't that case, and it's very interesting to me that the ETBs are not the first thing that's coming out, which they've always been the first thing that comes out.
It's a very weird release cycle right now. Like I said, I just don't think they can keep up with demand. I think they got backlogged quite a bit. And Pokemon they don't plan, a couple months in ahead. They plan years in ahead. And so looking at this and having them quickly change to, hey, we got to print X, Y, and Z instead, I think has forced them to slow down a little bit on some stuff. And like I said, pick and choose. I mean, it's really difficult in business. You always got to pick and choose stuff. You got to take risks sometimes. Maybe this is one of theirs. Hey, we're going to take a risk. We're not going to print ETBs until X date. We're not going to ship them out till X date. And so we're just taking a chance to see if this works or not.
So this actually brings up an interesting question that I have. One of the things you brought up, and I completely agree with you, is that ETBs are kind of a pain for the Pokemon Company to deal with, just with how much material goes into them. I don't think that we ever see the ETB go away, but do you think we ever see an adjusted version of it that's maybe a little bit less packaging and a little bit less
We're already seeing that with Mega
ETB?
Evolution. They have already started that with Mega Evolution. They did that plastic molding in there instead of the cardboard. I mean, throughout the years, ETBs have actually shrunk in size. We used to have very large ETBs for the XY era. I remember you would, take off the lid and there'd be a little extra room compared to what they have now. It's honestly a lot about the amount that they can pack inside of a container and ship that off with others. So that's why booster bundles are printed so much, is because they have a very small, what's called, I think it's like ecological amount. Like,
Yeah,
I
like the
can't remember
space it
exactly
takes
what they
up in
call
a
it.
container.
Yeah. And so they have to really think about business wise, does this make sense to print, 20 ETBs versus 120 booster bundles? If I'm looking at it that way, I'm going to go, well, hey, I get more product out with the booster bundles. I might as well print more of those. It makes people a little bit happier because they can get a little bit more packs. Not only that, but we can sell more packs that way and kind of pump our numbers a little bit compared to the amount of space, the weight of the boxes that ETBs take up. Not only that, but there's some collectors that are like, hey, I don't like ETBs because they get damaged way too easily. They get damaged in shipping a lot easier versus booster bundles. You might have one that's damaged and oh no, I gotta rip that one, versus an ETB. That's one of 10 versus a booster bundle. That's one of 20.
Absolutely. I just wonder if we start to see the decline of ETBs and just focusing that on booster bundles instead, or just maybe a new product that's just all packs. And I think that would be, I don't want to say it would be welcome, but I'd almost rather see a 12-pack box in cardboard with a promo and maybe a coin rather than these ETBs. But that's me personally. I know a lot of the other players, the ETBs aren't helping them because they're using dragon shields, they're using their own card sleeves, they're using their own dice. Like that stuff isn't really being used by players that have been playing for a while. But for new players, it is a great way to get into it. It's just I see a lot more negatives with the ETBs in the future than I do with doing a different product entirely.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, a business is always going to do what's best for them, and so if they're like, hey, a couple years from now, they might have already planned it out, right? And like I
I'm
said,
sure
they
they
make
did.
plans years in advance, and they're like, hey, we've already decided that we're going to reduce the number on ETBs every single year until we get down to a point where we can just say, hey guys, there's going to be no more. It's only going to be booster bundles, and then these different products. Um, as long as people's expectations are kind of set up for that, I don't think that they're going to have very much backlash from it.
I agree. And I think we got everything we needed.
Do you
We
want to
are
show off cards?
we are over an hour. We need to show off cards. I did have something. Okay. You want to go first?
Sure. So the first one is just kind of a funny one that the wife and I collect. Every once in a while we'll find one and we'll pick it up just because we find it hilarious. It's something that kind of fits both of our personalities really well, and it's this. It's a frying pan. It's a legitimate
What in
frying
the
pan
world?
that they printed, and we absolutely love it. This is one of the Japanese versions. It looks a lot better, in my opinion, than the English version. I think the English version is a non-hollow, but we just love it. It's
That's
legit just
hilarious.
a frying pan, and we both love to bake and cook, so it's like, yeah, why wouldn't we have a frying pan in our collection?
That's incredible. I had no idea
um,
about that.
yeah, it's hilarious. Sometimes you can find these weird cards that you're like, I had no idea, but yeah, I'm picking that up for sure. Um, and then this is just something that I got wifey a long time ago. She really loves this card. It's an old cert for PSA. We're never going to get rid of it. It's always going to stay in our collection, no matter how expensive it is. It's a first edition Blaine's Vulpix. It's not an expensive card at all. It's a PSA 9. Yeah, it might be a first ed, but she absolutely loves how the Vulpix is holding a Pokeball in its mouth, and it's just looking up like, yeah, you're mine. Yeah, this is my Pokeball. Take it. It's like, okay, we're now just playing fetch with a Pokeball, and yeah, it's so very cute. So something that I got for wifey. I thought that she'd love it, and it's definitely something that we'll hold on to.
That's awesome. I forgot about the Blaine's Vulpix. That is a cool card. That's another example of how like sometimes just having an older cert PSA that somebody graded a long time ago that's not necessarily a good grade, even a new cert, but nowadays people just aren't grading cards like that anymore. So you're not going to find a lot of it, but like you said, not valuable, but it's valuable to you. And that's what collecting is all about.
Exactly. Yep.
Um in my episode with Tucker, I talked about a set of cards, and last week I talked about how I like the 3 legendary birds and I like the 3 legendary dogs. So actually, Kalen was the one who showed me these. And I had since gotten a brand new sealed set, and I'm going to send these off for grading. But these are the Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. That these were a Black Star promo, as you can see, but the artist that was printed on these cards is not the artist that did it. The printed artist is Toshinao Aoki. Aoki was not the artist that did this. I forget the name of the artist that did, but the corrected version, they did figure it out late. But they figured it out and corrected it. The corrected version is a little bit more, but honestly, it's very odd that the error is the cheaper one. And we talked about this with the upside down Mew back as well, where the error was more common than the corrected. So the corrected version that you would think is normal is actually the more expensive version.
I love that. I think it's very unique, and hopefully they all come back tens for you.
I don't think so, but I don't care either because these cards are old. I was lucky enough to get a seller to sell me these, and they were sealed. Um, and I didn't really want to keep them sealed. I wanted a nice set. The original set I had were kind of beat up, because these are from 1998. Um, they're old.
So you're calling me old, huh? You calling me old?
No, you
No,
didn't
that's
make
okay.
these.
It's okay. No, I was born in 1998.
Yeah, but like you're a person. These are cards. We all know that you and I are both broken people anyway.
Oh my! Didn't have to call me out like that.
I'm
Dang.
sorry, my
Woo.
knee hurts sometimes.
Actually, my hip hurts right now.
Yeah, we're old. Just just two old guys collecting kids' toys. That's what we do.
We're just being ourselves, having some fun. That's all it is. Yeah.
But yeah, these cards, if anybody would like to get them for themselves, these are not insanely expensive at all. Even sealed, they're not that bad. They're just a really cool art. They're not hollow, which is also kind of odd, but they are very, very cool, and I'm very happy to have them in my collection.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you, because you're the one who showed me.
I got you.
All right, let's do it.
It ain't gonna stop. It ain't gonna stop.
No, it never will, and I don't want it to ever stop.
All right, everyone. That's been the Hit List Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully, you guys gleaned some information off of us. Hopefully, you had some fun and enjoyed the episode. Don't forget to stay safe, enjoy collecting, and have some fun. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
See you around, see you next time, and keep chasing.